Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Setschedule's Meet the Agent podcast. I'm Yvonne, part of the media and content team here at Setschedule, and I'm excited to welcome you back to another episode. In this series, I will be connecting with real estate professionals across the country to get some insight into the challenges of the industry as well as some strategies for success, straight from the agents who do it best. As always, we welcome feedback and suggestions, so please send an email to media@setschedule.com. Thank you for tuning in. So today I am joined by LaVon Barksdale from New York. She is an expert agent and she is a pillar in her community, so I am very excited to have her here to speak about her background in real estate as well as how she leverages her knowledge and resources as an agent to help her community. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great myself. Thank you for asking. Just to start, can you give me a little bit of background of your professional history as well as how you got into the real estate industry?
So my professional history starts a few years before real estate. So I worked for the city. I worked for the city of New York, and I worked my way up to the director. And most of my jobs in that area was surrounded by homelessness prevention. So I started a not-for-profit to serve veterans, to find housing for veterans. So one of the reasons why I said, okay, I'm going to get into real estate is because I want to do that as well. So in 2017, I got my license and I started to practice real estate. I waited a couple of years before I actually really started practicing. So I started practicing in 2019. I started with one agency and then I moved to EXP. And I've been with EXP now for 2 years. So that's how I got my start in real estate.
What kind of, skills did you find helpful in helping you make that transition?
I think more than anything, it was my organizational skills and my managerial skills because like with the city, I was a director of a program, so I had managed at least 30 people at one time at any given time. So that was really helpful, and you have to be really organized when you manage a great number of people. So having that organizational skills and managerial skills, I think helped me a lot in the real estate business because you have to be on point with who your client is, what they need, how you can get that done for them. So if you're missing a step, then you're going to miss something and you may drop the ball. So you have to be very organized with everything that you're doing when it comes to real estate.
I hear a lot from agents that you're I wouldn't say you're on your own, but you are in charge of finding your clients and maintaining relationships, and you're really kind of your own boss, essentially. So in that sense, how did you find managing your own business going from a government job to being your own entrepreneur?
Actually, it was a little challenging at first because I'm so organized at work. And then being your own boss, sometimes you have to really realize that you have to, if you don't do it, it's not going to get done. So you kind of, in the beginning, you're not as focused, maybe I should say, but then when you realize, okay, this all depends on me, then you have to come up with your systems and your processes, and you have to figure out how you're going to get your clients and what you're going to offer your clients and how you're going to best serve your clients. And it's always about the client at the end of the day, but you have to be ready to take the responsibility to get them to where they're trying to go, which is to be a homeowner. So it was a big challenge for me because there's no punching of the clock. There's no, the report is due at this time. There's nobody saying, I need this, I need this. You have to be responsible for that. And if you're not, then you're not going to be successful.
Yeah, it sounds like it takes a lot of accountability just to be a great agent. So I kind of want to focus a little bit on how you nurture relationships because, to find clients, you have to prospect, establish relationships before you can even, get to the transaction itself. So I just wanted to ask, what kind of strategies have you found effective in establishing a relationship with your client?
I think it's just about the communication, honestly. It's not, and it's about, like you said, it's a relationship. So you have to, it's not even a compatibility thing. It's like sometimes it's just the way you speak to people, how you deal with people. Your authenticity is more important than anything. I think people can see when you're being your genuine self. So I'm always my genuine self, and I always make sure that I'm giving 110%. And, every relationship needs to be nurtured along the way. regardless of whether it's a business relationship or a personal relationship. They all have to be nurtured in some kind of way, unless they will not be successful. So you have to just make sure that you keep communicating with your clients, and you keep in touch with your clients, and you also just become from a place of service. It's not about me, it's about them at the end of the day. So I always come from a place of service, or a place of helpfulness, and wanting to get the best for them. So that is always my goal. I've also used different tactics and ways that I get people. So I do use Setschedule as one of my lead generation tools. I do postcards. I can do mailers. Because we live in New York City currently, we're not allowed to call people. So that's been a little challenging. So you have to come up with different ways to do things. So you do a lot more social media. You do a lot more letter campaigns, postcard campaigns, things, and then Setschedule and things of that nature.
Oh, I wasn't aware that you were not allowed to call people in New York City. Is that, can you explain a little bit more about that?
It's because of the state of emergency. So
Okay.
the governor has put into place that we're not allowed to make phone calls due to the state of emergency. So I'm not 100% sure exactly why that makes a difference, but it is one of the rules that we can't do those things. We can't door knock. We can't cold call. We can call people if they reach out to us. So it's considered a warm call until we hear otherwise. It's usually month by month. So right now that expires on February 26th. And then if it is going to be extended, the governor will let everyone know. And then the brokers will let us know.
Okay, that makes sense. So then once that order, I guess, was put in place, how did you find pivoting to other means of communication? Are there any specific maybe platforms or avenues that you found to be more successful or more effective?
Social media is effective. Using lead generation tools such as Setschedule has been effective. And of course, like I said, you do letter campaigns, you do postcards, you do social media. So you do a lot of posts on social media. I actually got a call from a client based on my social media presence. So all of those things, you have to leverage all of that stuff. You can do a lot. And because of COVID and the fact that EXP is a virtual company, it wasn't so hard to pivot for us to do a lot of virtual showings and virtual tours and virtual open houses, because we're a virtual company to begin with. So a lot of other companies found it a little more challenging to pivot to the virtual world, where for us, it was always the way we did business anyway, because we have our own virtual world in EXP.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's great that you guys had that system in place. It definitely made the transition a little bit easier, it seems. I guess my next question for you would be, speaking about finding clients and such. So is there anything specific that you do for a client that is unique to you?
I don't know if there's anything that you can do that's unique, but I mean, mostly we just have, like I said, I'm one of those people who is very genuine. I come from a place of service. For sellers, I would offer like insurance policies while they're listing, and then it can transition over to the buyer. For buyers, we try to do things once they close. So but even with COVID, that's a little bit more difficult, because we used to offer a cruise for a week after a closing, or we would do a home, what do you call those? Parties. We would give them a party when they close on their house. But now it's a little more difficult, a housewarming party. It's a little more difficult to do because of COVID. So, you can still make it happen. And I always try to find something that's personal to the client and give them as like a closing gift or something like that. So, and mostly I'm just very communicative with them and very open and honest with them about and I do buyer's presentations with them. So I educate my clients. I walk through the process with them before we even start the search process to make sure they understand what's going on. They have all my contact information. So I'm just very, I like to educate people on the process, because a lot of people don't know what it entails. And it's a lot. It's a lot of people, a lot of different moving parts, and you want to make sure that everybody's on point.
I mean, the house buying process itself is just very long, and for first-time home buyers especially, it can get super overwhelming with all the legal information. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you educate and prepare your buyers before we even get to the transaction?
So I have a probably about a 45-minute presentation, and I have a series of documents that I have loaded into my computer. So I'll do a meeting, just something like this, where we're on a Zoom call and they'll be on the screen with me, and I'm sharing my screen and walking them through. We have so I'm walking them through each step. I'm showing them documentation. I'm showing them everything I'm going to send them after we finish our conversation, explaining the documents to them, explaining, you know, what steps they need to take. Do you need to meet with a realtor, get yourself pre-approved, search for your homes? Once you make an offer, what happens at that point? After you've got your offer accepted, what happens at that point? Before you close, your due diligence period, what happens at that point? And then, after you're ready to, when you clear to close, then we go to the closing table, and then it's congratulations, you're a homeowner. So I go through each step, and we make sure that each step is covered, and I give them an opportunity to ask questions, and then I answer questions, and they can even come back later if they have more questions. And then that's part of my educational process. So I do that with each buyer that's ready to move to the next stage.
Oh, that's so nice. I'm sure it's so appreciated. Is there a mantra or philosophy that you drive your business by?
I always say that the client comes before the deal. I never put money ahead of a client. So if however long it takes for me to get that client to where they're expecting to go is how long it takes. I'm not trying to push people through the process so I can close the deal so I can get my check. That's not my philosophy. Is always the client comes before the deal, before the money. The client is always first in my book.
I love that. I feel like sometimes real estate transactions can feel very transactional, and it just feels like, you're trying to get your clients through the steps, and it's totally understandable, but it could feel rushed. So I think it's awesome that you take the time to get to know your client and really prepare them for the purchase they're about to make. So I just wanted to switch gears a little bit here, because I know you did mention that you have a nonprofit for helping veterans find housing. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
So the not-for-profit is basically in its infancy. So I'm starting it up. I actually have the paper. Everything is done. It's an organization, 501c3 organization. So now it's just a matter of getting, property so we can start the housing process for veterans. At some point, we want to transition it into supportive housing. So that comes with all different, services that veterans may need to transition back into the community, or they may have some type of challenge that they need help with. So at some point, we want to transition from just providing housing to providing supportive housing. We also have done a few clothing drives. We've cooked meals and stuff, to raise money to do things for veterans. So we've done some things over the last few years. We were in the process of sponsoring a Navy ship. I was part of an organization that sent cards to veterans for the holidays, for all the different holidays, Veterans Day, Christmas, things like that. We would collect hundreds and hundreds of cards and then send them to different ships, because there's a lot of people, believe it or not, that are in the military but don't have family support. So we got together. It was called Hero Helpers of New York, and I was the New York chapter leader. And we would put together little packages, and we would get cards from different organizations, after school programs, or people who just wanted to send cards, and then we would send them out to the different ships and Navy and military bases for the military personnel.
Wow, that's amazing. Definitely a little goes a long way. I can't imagine how lonely it could get just being away for such long periods of time.
My son is a veteran. My son was in the Navy for 6 years, and their dad is a veteran. So we have a few veterans in our family. So, and my son gave me firsthand knowledge. That was one of the reasons why I started to think about it, because I used to hear from him how many people didn't have support and how many people were, on their own. So even when he graduated, I brought along a bunch of gifts, and I had to identify the people that he knew wouldn't have family, and we made sure that they got gifts at the end of the graduation. So just that they didn't feel like they were left out or anything like that. Yeah. So we just wanted to do something for others.
So it does seem like you're super active in your community. Are there any other things that you do just to make sure that the buyers in your market are prepared to take on the home buying journey?
Yes, so we're doing a group called Kiss Your Landlord Goodbye, the Clubhouse group. And what we're in the process of doing is, it's also a page we just started up maybe a month and a half ago. So what we're going to do in that group is we're going to cater to people who are renting currently, who are interested in becoming homeowners. So we're going to take them through each step that I talked about earlier, but we're going to take them through each step. We're going to hold their hand through each step. So we have, like in the Facebook group, we have different units. And then the first unit is where you meet with us, and we're going to do basically the same presentation I would do with just me and one other person. We're going to do it with a group. And then after that, there'll be a little quiz just to make sure they understood everything. And then they walk to the next step, which is to meet with a mortgage lender. And we've also invited mortgage lenders into the group so that they can interact with them before they actually, have to be pre-approved. And we're also going to make sure that they have the list of everything they're going to need in order to get pre-approved. And so each step of the way, we're going to be walking along with them and educating them as we go along. So what I would do in 45 minutes, we're going to do over a period of time. So we're going to just, however long it takes, we're going to walk them through the process. So we just want anybody who's interested in, first-time home buyers to join that Facebook group. And it doesn't matter what state you're in, because EXP has agents in all 50 states, in other countries. We have people in Mexico. We have people in Africa. So if you live in New York, but you think you want to move to New Jersey, that's fine. You can still join the group. If you live in Louisiana and you might want to go to Florida, that's fine, because we have an agent that can help you in every single state. So it's not limited to just New York, because I'm in New York. I also have the agents that are in New Jersey, Florida, and North Carolina currently in the group as well.
Wow, that's a really great resource to have. How did you come about with even starting something like this?
I'm also part of a group called Commitment to Capping, which is, when you say capping in real estate, every year we have a certain amount of money we have to make before we can cap, what we call cap. And then so this group is called Commitment to Capping. So it's like there's a couple of coaches, and every night we meet and we strategize on how to help our clients better. I was one of the few people that actually stepped up and started it. So I also asked other agents to join me. And so like I said, there's 5 of us currently, but we will eventually have somebody from every single state, probably more than one person from every single state, because nobody can handle all of the clients. So, and one of the things that I love about EXP is the collaboration. I've never, since I've been with them, felt like I had to fight with anybody to get something. Like if you ask, they'll just help you. So it's just such a collaboration, and it's been such a wonderful journey so far that I was able to get those people to work alongside of me to do this endeavor with the Facebook group. So that's how I actually got the idea to start it, was in that group, Commitment to Capping.
Oh, that's amazing. So you did mention a little bit about it being like a coaching group. Is that kind of similar to a mentor?
Well, in EXP, mentors are a little bit different. So in EXP, mentors work with you on your first 3 deals, just to walk you through the process if you have not had any deals before you've joined the company. So EXP provides you with a mentor if you haven't had any deals before you join. But if you have, you don't have to have a mentor. But you can always have a mentor if you like, just wouldn't be through EXP. But these are actual coaches. And I think they actually do mentor EXP agents as well. But in this capacity, they're coaching us. So they also do an appointment academy once a month. So the appointment academy is where for 5 days they break down one actual day of lead generation, but they do it over a 5-day period.
Oh, cool. I love that. It seems like they keep you prepared and just ready to stay on top of all the trends and all.
Yes, we get a lot of great ideas. We meet every night at 8 p.m. and we do script practice, just to hone our skills and to make sure that we are able to answer questions properly and tone and things of that nature. So we do a lot of practicing, a lot of script practice, a lot of, just open discussions. And then at 8 o'clock, one of our coaches, Sekou Pyle, gets on, or Dave Finale will get on, and they'll walk us through, like, we have to account for our production for the day. And then usually we'll have about a half an hour of a discussion on something that one of them feels like is going to help us to elevate ourselves to the next level.
Oh, cool. I love the collaboration between you and all the agents. And I know you had mentioned that your company was kind of a virtual company beforehand, but I think especially during these times, I love the virtual collaboration.
And I've not had a community like this in a long time. So you're not used to it, but it's becoming like second nature. You just, if you have something you need to know, you just go into the group, you ask the question. It's like a bunch of people are jumping on. Okay, well, it's this, and if they don't know, they'll try to find out. They go above and beyond just to make sure each one of us has the answers we need. If I'm working with a client and they decide they want to move to New Jersey, I go in a group. I need somebody in this part of New Jersey. They jump on it and they are there to help, and we communicate back and forth to help the client together. So it's just so much collaboration. It's a joy. Like, I don't even have to feel well, but I'm getting on that call at 8 o'clock. Regardless of how I feel, how tired I might be from the day's activities, I'm getting on the call at 8 o'clock. If I'm in the car, I will put it on my phone and I'm listening, because I can't look and drive, but I'm listening. So I very rarely miss an 8 o'clock call.
Oh, that's awesome. I love the support system that you guys have for each other. As we wrap up on our time together, is there anything you would like to say to any potential clients who might be listening?
Just what I said earlier, I always put you first. I like to build relationships with my clients. I'm not going to be that person that says, oh, she already bought a house, I'm not going to call her anymore. I'm not going to check on her anymore. I'm one of those people, I'll keep in touch with you. I'm going to make sure that what you're looking for is what you're going to get. I'm going to go above and beyond to make sure that I service you and that it's about you. I may have 5 clients, but you'll feel like you're the only client I have. So I just want to make everybody feel comfortable. I want everybody to understand that I spend a lot of time building my knowledge base so that I can help and serve you better. So I just, I'm just here to serve you and do what you need me to do to help you to get to the next level, to either sell your home, buy a new home, or rent. Even if you just want to rent an apartment, nothing is too big or too small, because there's some people that don't do rentals. I will do, I do it all. So, and if you have issues with credit, I'm going to help you through that process. I'm not going to tell you, call me back when your credit goes up. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do to get to the next level. And I'm going to walk you through that process. I've actually been working with a lady through a process for about a year, trying to help her build her credit. When she's ready, then we'll go to the next level. But I reach out to her at least twice a month, sometime once a month, depending on how busy I am. But I always reach out to her just to check in. I don't want her to feel like I'm just reaching out to her for just to be reaching out. I make sure that I communicate with my clients at all times.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Levon. This was such an insightful conversation. I'm really glad we were able to meet up today. As for our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, if you have any feedback or suggestions, please send an email to media@setschedule.com. If you would like more content like this, please check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/setschedule. And you can always connect with us on our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Our handle is @setschedule on all 4 platforms. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys.